Being born and raised in London, my favourite thing is the diversity in people and culture it has. According to the 2021 census, London was the most ethnically diverse region in England and Wales.
Being an Ecuadorian born and raised in London, I never really knew a lot about Latin American history. There weren't many Latinos in London. I never saw representation of us or anyone that looks indigenous like me apart from my family and friends.
Being from Latin America isn't viewed as an ethnicity. There is no ethnic box to tick. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere.
Didn't have anyone in my school that was from the same culture, same region, someone that could understand me, someone that we could talk in Spanish, or we could share music, food, something we had in common. I always felt like I was alone growing up.
People would always think I was Asian, from China, Vietnam, the Philippines. People never guessing my ethnicity correctly created an identity issue for me. I felt like I didn't fit the correct look to be an Ecuadorian. I was fake. My brother would always say I was adopted, and sometimes I think I believed it.
It wasn't until I grew older and I guess my skin got darker, my lips and nose got bigger, that people started guessing I was from South America. And they could tell I was Ecuadorian, which I was so happy and so proud of being. The day that really made me question my identity was when a white English boy asked me if I was an indigenous Ecuadorian, to which I said, I guess so. But then he asked me what tribe I belonged to. I remember not knowing what to reply when he asked me this. I didn't know if to be offended, laugh, because I'd never been asked this. I remember deep down it made me question myself on how much do I actually know about my ancestry and the history of Latin America. Growing up, it was just me, my brother, my mom and dad. They were all the family I had here. I really wasn't exposed to the diversity, history and true culture of Latin America. My parents came in 1999 when they were both in their early 20s to London, and they came all the way from their home country of Ecuador.
Ecuador is a small country located in South America, stuck between Colombia and Peru. It's a 14-hour plane ride from London to visit all my family that are in Ecuador. It is known for its high population of indigenous people and its name coming from the fact that it sits on the equator of the world. The first time I ever visited Ecuador was in 2006 when I was just 4 years old. This was also the first time meeting the rest of my family. Seeing that I had so much family with the same features as me made me feel like I belonged somewhere. It was beautiful and an emotional journey for me. To learn as much possible about my family history, I had to interview my grandparents.
¿Ustedes cómo se identifican? Como
mestizos.
mestizos.
Mestizo, sí.
¿Y eso qué es?
Ese mestizo que significará, porque eso mi mami decía, nosotros somos de la familia mestiza, como decir que no somos tan indios.
Yo considero una raza mestiza.
The majority of Ecuadorians identify as mestizo. The race mestizo is a mixed race of indigenous American and European ancestry. Although being mestizo doesn't necessarily only relate to mixed ancestry, but it's now regarded as a culture. Many fully indigenous-blooded people will identify themselves as mestizo because they no longer consider themselves indigenous as they have mixed with other cultures.
¿La descendencia europea? ¿O no sabe?
No, eso sí, no. Yo no niego que puede ser tener sangre de indígena, yo no niego porque nosotros tenemos en la cuarta, quinta generación, pero llevamos la sangre porque la sangre sigue.
Pero ya solo perdemos la cultura indígena.
Y eso ya perdemos, pero nosotros hemos de ser como dicen los indios antes que vivían allá en Ecuador. Mi mamá siempre ella conversaba, dice que antes los indios que por allá por donde ellos se habían criado es que habían indios.
Nunca les enseñó la historia completa de lo que
No.
A nosotros en ese tiempo no. Sí, hasta tercer grado que yo estudié de allá no terminé yo.
Por eso no sé.
No, uno no sabía en ese tiempo.
Yo por primer grado. ¿Qué nos enseñaban
Yo no, mijita, la verdad yo no estudié, yo solamente estudié un año nada más y por eso yo la historia casi no me lo sé. Mi madre tenía familias en Gambato, un sitio que se llama Quizapincha, y ella pues tenía su familia allí y eran indígenas y hablaban su idioma quichua. No, yo quise, pero mi padre, él no era de sangre indígena porque a él nunca le gustó que sus hijas hablen ese idioma. Dijo, no, ustedes no son indígenas, dijo, ustedes no son indígenas, son mis hijas y ustedes no tienen que hablar ese idioma. Como te digo ahora, viendo, pues es una equivocación, ¿no?
Sí, es
Porque
bien feo. Usted tenía el derecho de saber que es indígena,
y a mí me
sí.
encantaba, yo quería saber, me gustaba muchísimo ese idioma, hablar, comprender y contestar y preguntar, pero no, nunca pude. Fue para vivir ya con la esposa en la ciudad de su esposa y ya fue perdiendo eso ya. Entonces ya mi mamá se casó ya con mi papá, ya le perdí totalmente. Imagínate,
Sí.
santo domingueña ahora.
Mi abuelita era de Anaco y mi abuelita hablaba bastante quichua porque sabía casi, o sea, entre ellos conversaban así, pero mi abuelito no era de esos. Él ni le gustaba hablar del quichua, porque nosotros a veces contábamos en diálogo, conversando entre mayores así, o conversando en quichua, íbamos tratando de aprender algo y nos mandaba corriendo, nos sacaba corriendo ya diciendo que no, ustedes no deben aprender eso. Entonces mi abuelita sí, ya le digo, ella sí. Mi mamá también conversaba en quichua.
After learning as much as I could from my grandparents and from my family, I knew that I had to take a DNA test to be able to discover the exact story of my ancestors. I was so excited and nervous as all my unanswered questions were about to be shown. I'm 95% indigenous to the Americas, to the region of Ecuador, Bolivia and Peru. Discovering that I'm 86% indigenous to the northern and southern part of Ecuador is so beautiful and funny, as it makes sense because that's where the majority of my family reside in. It goes to show how many generations my family and my ancestors have lived in the same community and part of Ecuador. It's so emotional seeing that their bloodline wasn't mixed or touched by any other race. It was very cool discovering that I also have random 2 and 1% ancestry in other different parts of the world.
Soy 89% indígena de Ecuador.
Claro, mi amor, sí sos. Imagínate, yo llevo sangre indígena, tu abuelito también. Imagínate, ahora tengo que vivir, vaya.
Sí.
Nosotros vivir por vivir no sabemos de dónde somos descendientes.
¿Dónde están nuestras raíces? Mira, orgullosos de que seamos así, ¿no ves? Chévere, mijita. Gracias por hacerme saber eso.
Sí, quise contarles.
Orgullosa de ser pura.
Due to racism, colorism, colonization, and family history, my family have lost their connection with being indigenous. But I'm proud to say my ancestors are indigenous of Ecuador. As many people from Latin America with indigenous blood, we've been taught to hate our race, but I see it as history surviving. Although we don't label ourselves indigenous, we carry our pure indigenous blood and features always.